In the high-stakes world of rare gems, telling what's real from what's not has always been the name of the game. But today, the lines between what nature makes, what humans tweak, and what labs create from scratch, well, they're getting blurrier by the second. So let's dive into this fascinating and pretty complex world. To really get a handle on the stakes, just look at this number. That's not the price of a diamond. That was the price per carat for the famous Hancock red diamond. And that was way back in 1987. Red is just about the rarest color you can find in a diamond, which shows you exactly how much people are willing to pay for one of nature's true masterpieces. And right there, that's the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? When a tiny hint of color can be worth an absolute fortune, the motivation to create that color, by pretty much any means necessary, is just huge. And that's where our story really kicks off. Okay, so before we can even get into the fakes and the treatments, we have to understand the baseline. What's nature actually capable of? And the wild thing is, nature itself can cook up some seriously bizarre and unexpected effects all on its own. Take aquamarine, for example. We usually think of it as this simple, pretty, clear blue stone. But sometimes, nature has something else in mind, packing an incredible amount of complexity into one single crystal. What is so amazing here is that you are looking at the exact same 4.49 carat aquamarine. I mean it. From one angle, it's this deep, rich blue. But you turn it just 90 degrees and boom, it's a pale, almost greenish blue. This natural phenomenon is called strong dichroism. It's basically one of nature's own built-in magic tricks. And this kind of weirdness isn't just for minerals that we dig out of the ground. The world of organic gems, things made by living creatures, has its own set of beautiful oddities that can be just as puzzling. So check out the spondylus pearl, which comes from the thorny oyster. It has this unique porcelain-like surface with a cool pattern that gemologists call a flame structure. But look closer, some of those flames are blue. How crazy is that? That's incredibly rare. On top of that, it's made of two different minerals, aragonite and calcite, which is not what you see in most pearls. These little quirks are like natural fingerprints that help experts know they're looking at the real deal. So, we've seen what nature can do on its own. But what happens when people look at that and think, yeah, I can make that better? This is where we get into the world of treatments, taking a natural gem and just giving it a little push. So, how do you cook up that priceless red color if you can't find it? Well, here's a little 3-step recipe someone tried. First, you start with a much less valuable natural brown diamond. Next, you zap it with radiation to get a kind of reddish tint going. And for the final touch, you add a totally invisible coating to the bottom facets to really make that red pop. And this is where you really see the trick. With that coating on, gemologists graded it as a fancy reddish brown, of very valuable grade. But after the GIA lab simply boiled the diamond, that coating came right off, and the red just vanished. Its true color was a fancy dark orangey brown, a totally different and way less valuable stone. And they had even more proof. Using this incredible tool called the diamond view, they could literally see how the coating was smothering the diamond's natural glow, its luminescence. Once that coating was gone, the stone lit right up. See, it's this kind of high-tech detective work that uncovers these really sophisticated treatments. Okay, so we've looked at pure nature, and nature with a little help. But honestly, the biggest challenge facing the gem world today comes from stones that have no natural core at all. These things are born and raised in a lab. The key technology here is called CVD. Think of it like 3D printing, but for diamonds. You're in a vacuum chamber, and you use a carbon-rich gas to deposit carbon atoms layer by tiny layer onto a little seed crystal. And what you get is a real diamond with the exact same physical and chemical properties as one from deep in the earth. So here's the problem for the experts. The technology is moving at light speed. These are not your grandma's obvious fakes. Modern synthetics can be so perfect that telling them apart from a natural stone with the naked eye is, well, it's pretty much impossible. Hey, don't just take my word for it. This is a direct quote from the Gemological Institute of America about a synthetic diamond they studied. They said the little flaws inside it, the inclusions, were so random and natural looking that they could easily fool someone just using a standard jeweler's loupe. They perfectly mimicked imperfections that take billions of years to form in the earth. And you can just forget the old idea that lab-grown diamonds are always tiny. The The GIA labs recently looked at a CVD synthetic that was a full carat and a half, and it had the super rare color grade of fancy dark gray. They are getting bigger, they're getting better, and they're getting way more complex every single year. So, what happens when all of these lines, natural, treated, and synthetic, just completely crash into each other? Well, you get the ultimate puzzle for the modern gem detective. Let's look at one final, absolutely mind-bending case. Here we go. It's a 0.46 carat fancy deep gray blue diamond. Now, based on everything we've just talked about, what's your gut feeling? Is it a rare treasure from the earth? Is it a natural stone that's been treated to look better? Or is it a pure creation of a laboratory? And the answer is a crazy combination of all three. Its origin is synthetic. It was grown in a lab. But then it was artificially irradiated to give it that blue color. And here's the kicker. The treatment was specifically designed to create an internal color pattern that is identical to what you'd find in a treated natural diamond. It's a synthetic, specifically made to look like a treated natural stone. Just wow. So what's the bottom line in all this? As the source material says, the game has gotten so complex, with synthetics being treated in newer and trickier ways, that the only reliable way to tell what's what is in a fully equipped gem lab. The days of being able to tell just by looking through a microscope are long, long gone. Which leaves us with one last question to chew on. In a world of perfect copies, if a lab-grown diamond is physically and chemically the same as a natural one, what does rarity even mean anymore? What are we actually paying for? Is it the beautiful object itself, or is it the incredible story of its billion-year journey from the center of the Earth to us?